Okay, welcome back here to Data Science Channel. It's time for a second of our daily reports. This time the report is going to be for Spain. And we know, of course, that Spain only counts numbers Monday to Friday, which should mean that Saturday, Sunday's numbers are added on to Monday's numbers. Okay, let's just run this numbers here and see what they look like. So, Spain, what you can see, you have a little over 5 million cases and about, say, 87,289 deaths. Now, if we take a look at cases by year, you can see again that the uh, cases have passed 2020 cases have passed 2020 cases. Okay. The question is, of course, what's the distribution of these cases over time? Are the cases increasing or decreasing over time? What about deaths? Well, here's the good news, Spain. There's a very good chance that your 2021 COVID-19 deaths will not catch 2020 deaths. Okay. Okay. So what you can see here when you look at excuse me, what you see here is that you see this long declining pattern starting in the first part of the year. Okay, so what you can see here back on January 25th, Spain. Did I mention this is Spain now? Okay, good. Uh, we can see Spain back on January 25th. Your cases spiked at 93,822 cases. During the summer, that number fell down to say a range of saying, well, under 25,000 through most of the summer. It's not the best numbers, but it's better than it could be. Then again, starting in July, you're going to see an increase in cases again, which peaked on July the 26th, okay, at 61,625 cases for a single day, before falling back down on October the 27th to 2,582 cases per day, and an average of 2,542. Now we could take a look at deaths here. Familiar pattern. Well, although Spain's a little different. He had a start of declining here, then he had a spike back up here for maybe a week before falling back down. So the with the big spike was back over here on February the 8th at 909 deaths for a single day. But by October the 27th, that number had fallen to 51 deaths for a single day, with a daily average of 37.7 deaths per day. So again, here you can see the weekly cases. The long declining pattern here, relatively low numbers down here below whatever this number there is. I don't know. So anyway, you can see this, and then you had this bit of a speed bump here, and then like several countries, a steep incline back here in the first part of July before it really began to fall off the edge of a table back over here. So this last part's the best news for today, the continuing downward decline. And the good news about this is, look, deaths are pretty doggone low. So this line would be 1,000. So somewhere 8,900 deaths right here was the peak during all this summer back over here. Okay, so all these numbers here are under are under 1,000. What about monthly cases? Well, you can see that October is going to be the third month in a row when Spain is seeing a decline in COVID-19 cases. And the good news is, you had in the first part of in the first part of the year, okay, March, April, May, June, you had for March through June, you had five a 5 straight week decline in COVID-19 cases. Then in August, you had a spike. But now it looks like September and October, we've seen a decrease in COVID-19 deaths in Spain again. Okay, so that takes care of Spain for right now. What do we want to do next? We're just going to move on to, I believe we want to move on to, is it Israel? I can't think right now. My brain isn't functioning properly. Okay, let's just keep moving along here. Let's move on to Israel. Israel, of course, is in the midst of a very aggressive vaccination program. Okay, so we'll check and see how their numbers look out here. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. I look out the window and I see the moon up in the sky. Of course, it's 12:58 in the afternoon here in Central Ohio. I don't remember ever seeing the sun, like this in the early afternoon before. It's really odd, isn't it? I suppose because I wasn't looking for it. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's take a look here. What you got? 1.2 million cases, 8,073 deaths. What you can see here is that Israel's numbers. Well, his cases for 2021 are very close to doubling the cases for 2020. But as always, you've got to be is a couple of questions. How many of these people were vaccinated? And what is the distribution over time of the COVID-19 cases? And the same thing with deaths for Spain, for Israel. Okay, uh, how many people were vaccinated, and what's the distribution over time? I'll be back in just one moment. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so what you just observed was I just pulled out my 20 by 50 monocular, and then I just took a look at the moon out the front window, out my bedroom window here. And again, like I said, this is 1 p.m. in the afternoon here in Central Ohio. I don't ever remember seeing the moon like that in the early afternoon like this. Of course, part of the reason could be because I never looked for it. It never occurred to me I could see it like this. But anyway, let's take a look over here now. So once again, Israel, you can see that COVID-19 deaths past 2020 deaths. But what you go see is you all go see a very long, low decline back here. Of course, it doesn't take too many cases and deaths to basically wipe out any gains you made. Okay. So anyway, let's take a look at the current year's numbers. We had one small spike back here in January 27th at 11,934 cases. But then down here during the summer months, you wind up with very low cases. For this period here, you were under say 500 cases per day for all through the spring and summer. Then you had this increase in July, which topped out on September the 8th at 22,291 cases, before falling back down on October the 26th at 857 cases, with an average of 599 cases. We can take a look at deaths also. Again, the big spike back in January at on January 27th at 92 deaths, before falling all the way down here, all the way down into the spring and summer, all the way down to single and double digit death numbers. Okay, that little spike there is 10 deaths. So everything rest of this is under 10 deaths per day. Then in July we saw the increase again back up here to on September the 8th at 56 deaths for a single day. We zoom in down here, you can see that number on October the 26th was one death, with a day with an average death of 10 deaths per day. Okay. Now we can take a look here. Again, this long declining pattern down here in Springford cases, very low numbers during the summer months, spring and summer, before climbing back up here the end of June to okay. So we had 6 weeks increase, sharp increase in COVID-19 cases. Some people say this is a Delta variant, but the question is, do we know that for a fact? Are we actually testing specifically for the Delta variant? Is that is purely a suggestion? A conjecture on someone else's part? But again, the good news is very long, very steep decline in COVID-19 cases. What about deaths? Well, you can see again, your deaths were just like crazy low all through spring and summer. Long declining pattern down to the early spring. Low deaths during the spring and summer. Then back in July, we saw an increase of 4 or 5, 6 weeks of COVID-19 deaths, followed by an immediate downturn back over here. What about monthly cases? Well, the good news is October is going to be less than August, September deaths. Okay, but unfortunately, August, September's deaths were the second, third most months so far for cases. What about COVID-19 deaths? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at one point you had a 5 month in a row decline in COVID-19 deaths, but then in July, August, September, we saw an increase, a pretty steep increase in COVID-19 deaths in Israel. But now it looks like October's deaths are going to be less than August, September's deaths also. Okay, so that takes care of Israel for today. Update this. Hopefully I remember to turn the recording on. Okay, so I went to my Twitch account and I'm seeing one view. One view, okay. Is that me? Is that me because I logged on? I don't know. But the good news is last night's broadcast has had 20 views. But the trouble is we need to convert those views into actually uh, live stream people joining me live on my stream, okay? I mean, the reason you have a live stream is so people can get information interactively and live, in real time. So I appreciate the 20 people who viewed the video, yesterday evening's video. Uh, what if there's a way to look at the number of cases by day, by hour? Hmm. So I posted last night between 7 and 10 p.m. That would mean that some of these people are viewing these videos, in the morning before they go to in the morning, at least in the morning, Eastern Daylight Time, anyway. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Did I forget to label a couple videos here? Okay. Okay.